What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Way Off Base podcast. I'm your host, Crypto Joe. I am accompanied by the wonderful Rudy Moon as our co-host today, as we are welcomed for this AMA with MIDAS, and we have Luca joining us. Luca, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, nice to meet you, Rudy. Good to see you again, Crypto Joe. Really excited to be speaking with both of you today. I want to tell you all about our project and answer any questions you both may have.
Super excited. I've been bullish on MIDAS for quite a while now. Jumped in quite a few spaces with you guys. Got to hear a lot about what you're working on, your focus, your ambitions for the project. But before we get things kicked off, Luca, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your role with MIDAS.
Okay, well, role, that's still undefined, but I'm Luca Cicero. I'm behind the mic here of the MIDAS account. I am a team member. In my regular day job, I'm a lawyer. Sometimes I'm doing legal work for MIDAS, reviewing all the facts and the fun things of crypto. But really, I want to think of myself as like the chief astronaut. I'm a fun, silly guy when it comes to the meme coin. I enjoy making art and the memes and posting about MIDAS in the socials. And it's funny, there's going to be a lot of duality here. So the duality of myself is that I'm serious from 9 to 5. And then once I'm off work and I'm fully invested in MIDAS time, I'm just a silly guy. So I'm sure you've seen some of my funny tweets and funny comments along the way, and I hope to maintain that.
I love that. We tend to wear everything in the space. Your involvement in the community, helping on the project side. There's always a lot going on. Oh, we lost Rudy for a minute here. Hold on, let's get her back. You back?
What happened? I don't know what happened. Sorry.
No worries. Appreciate the introduction. Again, I love that you defined yourself as kind of really covering everything along MIDAS and really just your interaction with the community and really bringing the lightheartedness to the meme space is what's super important. Because again, without everybody else involved and keeping it lighthearted, especially when we're in a bit of a bear market, it becomes gruesome. That's for sure. While I got you, kind of on the topic of the project, there was a few things that I was looking at, and there's a lot of folks that are either new or have been in the project and in the community for a little bit. But do you mind just giving us kind of a simple breakdown as far as what was the thoughts behind creating MIDAS, the Minotaur as the PFP or as the character, and then really what your guys' focus was for the roadmap.
Okay. You asked for a simple answer, and this is anything but, to be honest with you, Crypto Joe.
I love it.
At inception, I think I should mention here, beginning with a little bit about the team, and I'd like to delve into that more should you have any questions about it. But, we were first and foremost crypto investors who met through investing in various, let's say, Discord channels, right? People that you would watch on YouTube, and we met all in there. We had an affinity for one another, decided that, we were a subgroup that helped one another grow our own bags and do research for one another. And our research and our investments led to the crypto meme space, I suppose, right into the trenches. And some of those investments turned to crap because some of those investments were rugs and shady developers, shady teams. And we recognized, with everything that we know, with all of our vast experience throughout crypto individually and cumulatively together, what if there was a team that was honest and wanted to build and saw something more than just a short-term play, didn't want to dump? How good can it be? And MIDAS is that. This is what we've built together. So we've decided to bring some honesty and transparency into what is otherwise considered like a shady place in the meme trenches. So we're building better. We're doing it differently. And that's really how Midas came to be born. Now, do you wish to know a bit about like the theme and the mascot and how it developed as well, Joe?
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
love
What
that.
what was the thought inspiration behind the Minotaur as the focus?
Well, okay. So we wanted to present ourselves as and I mean the underlined and a couple exclamation marks, mascot of the bull cycle. And, we had to think about what is new, what hasn't been done before. And we are, very honorably the first Minotaur on the blockchain right now. So, you know, and then, what we wanted was something that meant something or something different to every person who looks at it. So the beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, and there's so many ways to interpret this narrative that we're building here with Midas the Minotaur. Ostensibly right on the outside looking in, we are a bull as a mascot for a bull cycle, check, right? But then you think about it, what are we called? We're called Midas the Minotaur, right? And King Midas, if you look back into philosophy, King Midas represents a desire for wealth. And, now we're starting to tell the story of every single crypto investor, every single person who is bullish, right, on crypto. So, King Midas, what are the key attributes here? Looking at abundance, wealth creation, pursuit of gold with visionary conviction. We have the Minotaur, which is half bull, half human. He is unshakable, disciplined. And the Minotaur, in again philosophy in these ancient times, was known as the guardian of the labyrinth. And to us, crypto is that labyrinth. It is full of volatility, traps, illusion, misinformation, manipulation, scams, and rugs. But when you look at these stories, they're both about power, and that power must be used wisely. So now, as we're getting into community development and helping out these new investors, we teach them about self-custody, financial freedom, right? And these are the ideals of the people that are buying into crypto. They want to turn that capital into massive gains, and typically it's asymmetrical. Little capital turns into big gains. They need to resist fear. They need to hold. They need to ignore what the paper hands are doing, and they need to survive that volatility. So we figured for ourselves, and of course, I don't wish to take, how do I put it? My team developed this. I was just one spoke in this large wheel here. I'm just one guy out of many. But as this team, smart people, and they wanted to give a meme coin where investors can see themselves in these types of archetypes. Really, we got the dreamer, which is Midas. We got the warrior, which is the Minotaur. And that's what we believe ourselves to be right now, is we're advancing this new technology, which is known as the Web3, blockchain, etc. Now, you need to be a strategist navigating this uncertainty. You need to be the individual who's trying to escape the traditional financial maze. And I think that these two archetypes blended together exhibit everything that the modern crypto investor is. So we're half a bull, half a warrior. We're 100% bullish conviction. And there is the Captain Midas the Minotaur. A small presentation. Any questions or follow-ups there?
That was beautiful. Rudy, you got any questions? You muted, hon.
Sorry, my dog was barking, so I muted it.
That dog.
I tend to, if she wants all the spotlight, I tend to focus a lot on community, as you heard me talking about last night in this space as well. What is your plans to, I consider community to be the foundation of any project. I say often, if you don't have that strong foundation, it doesn't matter how great your project is or your team is, because there's only so many people that can carry your project. You need to really expand into multiple communities, multiple different projects, multiple blockchains, even to meet other people. And I really liked seeing, yourself and the doctor last night in this space, because this is what is needed. We need to interact outside of our bubble, outside of our ecosystem. So what are your plans to continue growing your community?
Well, that's a great question. And I wish I had that, because I feel like that would be the $1 million answer if I had the recipe for that success. But I would say that, little by little, day by day, we always interact with our community, and we always wish to grow it. So I think fundamentally, you need to be active. You need to lead by example. You need to push the community forward, or at least to follow your lead. So we've developed our community, which is a wonderful community within Telegram. We've offered them also Discord, and there's always, I suppose, we have the intent to always give added value where you just wouldn't find it typically in the meme space. So, for example, in our Discord, we have a technical analysis channel, and we're helping out investors, call their longs, call their shorts. And this brings people into our Discord. And I'm noticing that we're getting so many good mornings and good nights, and people that are just taking a couple of minutes out of their day to show their presence. So every darn day we're doing that, and we're receiving a wonderful reception to all that, and people are, joining in and doing that. And again, community building, it's a full front onslaught. I would say you need to be on Twitter, you need to be on Telegram, you need to be on Discord, you need to be doing fine spaces such as this one and podcasts as this one. You need to be out there, and you need to prove that you're not going anywhere. You're going to put in that work. We also want to make it fun and playful. I mean, why are people in memes, right? They don't want to be so serious as I am from 9 to 5. I like to unwind with my community. So within the Discord itself, the Telegram, we have a fun little meme generator where people think up of wild situations where Midas is in, and then it'll automatically generate it for you. And then boom, or you wish to have a PFP with Midas, boom, it makes it right for you. We have 2 wonderful unnamed people that will remain unnamed. I'll let them take credit for what they do. And they're from a much larger meme project, what I consider to be a blue chip project. And they've assisted us in making a 3-look GIF and meme generator. So they've prepared various expressions of Midas, facial expressions of Midas. And those 2, you just go into 3-look, you can punch in the Midas image into your favorite GIFs, and you shall see them floating about on Twitter and Telegram already. If you're on Twitter and you search King Midas, among other search terms, there will be Midas memes or GIFs right there for you to preload and answer all of those, silly questions that you get on Twitter. We're making like these little advances that we're maintaining the ability to keep Midas relevant and at your fingertips at all time. And at the same time, we're keeping it fun and playful, because that's what the people want, I believe, in the meme space.
Exactly. And I'm with the team of Interlink. I'm not sure if you've been in our spaces, and I've known Frank from Interlink. Ooh.
Oh no, I was giving you the raise the roof on Interlink.
Oh,
all the love.
And, one of the things we started doing, when the market is bad, I think it's important to raise the morale of the space. People are depressed. They don't want to look at their wallet. They don't know what's going to be. Am I going to be able to pay my bills next week? When am I going to moon? And we find that interacting with the community daily is important, regardless of what the market is doing and regardless of what your chart is doing. If somebody's chart is tanking because they had a whale sell or there's fear in the market, there's a lot of projects that kind of step back because they don't want to have to explain. They don't want the negativity. Whereas I believe that is really harmful. With Interlink, myself with the Safe Moon YOLO community, same thing. games. We would play Family Feud. We would play as silly as rock, paper, scissors using emojis. But when you're continuing to do things, and sometimes we make a joke out of it, okay, you're going to win $1 in Solana. It's not about prizes. It's about bringing people together to have fun regardless of what the market is doing. And that, to me, really strengthens your community, because the community wants to see the team there, whether we're making money or we're not making money. So again, having you guys in this space last night with YOLO was a lot of fun. You kind of saw us playing around. I mean, that was a little different because we did have Ash's young daughter in there. But there's often times that, and we're going to bring game night back, you know, Family Feud, rock, paper, scissors. We do that in DMs. Just a lot of things you want to just keep interacting. The market, I believe, is going to remain unstable for a little while. I have kind of felt that we're kind of correcting. You know, I think a lot of people were anticipating all these huge changes to come right away with the new administration, and they're seeing, okay, you know what, things aren't going to happen as fast as possible. I think we're seeing somewhat of a correction. So the charts may not be good for another few months, but you showing up for your community on a daily basis is very important.
I think you're absolutely right. And more so than that, we have to also try to protect those people that are newer investors, people that are newer, the future of crypto, really, because there's so many people that are coming in during these uncertain times, and who knows where they've come from and or what their expectations are. But I think as veterans, such as we three are, we have the opportunity here to help them and to explain to them what typically happens during a regular cycle, and then a cycle like this one, and especially on a day like today, Rudy. I mean, this is a scary day, right? So
I haven't looked. I haven't. I'm to the point where it's just not worth looking. I'm not going to upset myself. So I guess.
I looked. I was upset.
Yeah, be forewarned. You may not wish to check your portfolio today, Rudy.
Listen, I know we can talk about the importance of community all day long, because they are absolutely the lifeblood of all of our projects. Without them, there wouldn't be a project, right? But one thing I want to try to challenge you a little bit with, Luca, and I apologize, but I want to try to dive into a little bit of phase 3. Looking at the roadmap, you guys have checked all of the boxes. You've done a phenomenal job so far. But of course, share what you can, because we're talking a little bit in the future here. 2 things I want to address first that were in phase 2 was your transparency tools and then governance expansion. Can you touch a little bit on those 2 topics?
Absolutely. So, I want to move forward, but I may have to touch on the past here. So,
Of course.
When we were launched, we decided that on launch night, really, it was August the 25th. And if you're in the Eastern Standard Time like I am, it was kind of late in the evening, like let's say past 10 p.m. And on launch night, we had about 5 ETH at the time, was worth about $20,000. And that was our liquidity pool that we all contributed as a team. And we decided on that very night, we're not going to just lock it, but we're actually going to burn it. And we wanted to ensure potential investors that there would be no rug, right? We can't, we as a team, we cannot control the market, whether the ups and downs and whether people wish to buy or sell. That is the inherent nature of crypto investing, I suppose. But we can control what we do to stop rugs. So that was the first piece of transparency right there, and honesty. We burnt it. So that's locked liquidity. Locked and burnt liquidity, which you find on Uniswap. Secondly, there was no team allocation. The team, we all agreed that we wanted to adhere to the tenets of fair launch, meaning that the tokens were completely released onto Uniswap, onto the market with the burnt liquidity at the starting market cap, and only then can the team buy in, which is at the exact same time as every other investor. And we wanted to further strengthen that, and I suppose we've already clicked this box, Joe, by additional liquidity And we did so through our friends and partners over at Treble Swap. We took an additional, I don't know the exact figure, but it's somewhere in the range of $40,000 to $50,000, and we locked that up onto Treble Swap. And Rudy, I understand you're not exactly in the base. You know all about it, but you're not in the base ecosystem per se. But if you don't know Treble, V4 DEX on base, and we locked up that amount, and we're able to also add staking utility to the MIDAS token. So that honesty and transparency led to a real life utility. And again, we're trying to market ourselves, because we are investors, to all sorts of investors. There's people such as myself. I tend to be more of a buy and hold long-term type of investor, but we also have people who are watching the charts, want to time their buys, their or sells, right? So we wanted to utilize Treble's technology insofar as having target buy and sell orders through that platform. And we hope to expand one day. I keep on twisting the arm of Rob Zombie, who's one of the co-founders, to allow us to perpetual trade, because we want all sorts of investors to be attracted to Midas. So, looking back on that staking, I believe there was about 550 million tokens locked up as of earlier this week. And I apologize. I don't often, sit around and watch the statistics. It may be up, maybe down, but I think that's a good estimate. Don't hold me to it, the exact number at least. So again, people are locking up this token. And of course, what does that translate to? Translate to a diminished sell pressure if those tokens are locked up. And by the way, this isn't like a honeypot scheme where you lock it up and that's it. It's gone for 10 years. Nuh-uh. We had to really, not really. I mean, Treble was amazing, but I made sure that I asked the Treble team to allow unstaking within a very short period of time, and they've agreed to within a 24-hour period. Now, what that means is if you decide to unlock on hour 23 of this cycle, you get your tokens within an hour. If you unlock on hour 1 of this 24-hour period, then you have to wait the remaining 23 and whatnot hours. So we wanted people to continue to maintain access to their tokens at all times. So this isn't one of those schemes where you lock it up, too bad, haha, it's 3 years and come back in 2028 and you can have your tokens again. None of that. We wanted to maintain transparency and, again, market ourselves to whatever type of investor you are out there, with honesty and with transparency and with a bit of trust. So, Joe, I'm sorry, it was long-winded, but what did you think? Was that an answer for you, or did you expect something more?
That was perfect, and I actually got to partake in that Treble space and really get to understand what you guys were doing and the partnership. How does that now translate into your guys' governance expansion?
Well, okay. So the governance itself is we have a 2-2 transaction tax, which people often call a buy-sell tax. And presently, what we're doing with it is, by the way, not presently, but we've ensured that those taxes, they go into a 3 out of 5 multi-signature wallet. And that is our governance right now, per se, with respect to the funds. Now, as you may know about us, Joe, I've mentioned this before in the past, and perhaps you picked it up on the various spaces you've tuned into, but we're very much a transparent community, and we often take votes within the community about what we're going to do next and what people, our community, wish to have. Like, for example, that I touched on it earlier, the meme generator in Telegram, that was a community request. So
Very nice.
Someone said, hey, I would like to have that for King Midas. I have it in another community that I'm part of. And so what did we do? We took that request and we went out there and we found it. So if people in our community wish to help us advance and make us better and more marketable, we're always listening. We do everything by vote. And back to the 3 out of 5 multi-sig wallet, that requires 3 people to sign any transaction before funds are spent. That limits it takes away the opportunity for any one dev to run off with the liquidity or the tax, right? So
Say, as we've seen recently with a few projects, unfortunately.
Just a few.
Unfortunately so. And what we've done with respect to that wallet is we've ensured that should anyone else wish to take over the project, or should anyone else wish to step down, then we can then elect someone to take over that spot. And we wanted, everything we're doing is we're looking forward to not the very near future, but the far future. We wish to be a multi-cycle play. And I think everyone needs a bull in their portfolio, and why not us? So everything that we do is to ensure that the governance and the decision-making of this token, okay, may proceed into the future, notwithstanding that one person decides to take a long vacation from crypto. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're thinking about. Joe, is that a good answer, or would you like more?
No, that was beautiful. I couldn't ask for more. The involvement in the community, again, super important. And you guys are putting that on first and foremost, and putting the community front stage and center, and really the decision making and direction that the project's going. Obviously with a sound approach, and making sure that you're not taking every suggestion that's thrown into the marketing bin. But I think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
I have a question on the staking, if I can jump in for 1 second. Yeah. You had mentioned that you can unstake, prior to the 24-hour lock. Now, is there a penalty, a fee attached to that if you unstake early?
Yeah, good question. Good question indeed. So, of course, you're earning some sweet yield on your tokens, and there's a period in which you may collect your reward. Now, should you unstake prior to the time that you can collect your reward, you would have to forego those rewards, right?
Understandable.
So the best way, the best practices that I can recommend to all my stakers out there, that you regularly collect your rewards, okay? Because when you're looking at that, you're thinking to yourself, it is really a matter of game theory here, right? So how do you maximize your gains, and when do you wish to exit your position? The ultimate time would be at the very second after you've collected your rewards, then you press the unstake button, right? That would be it. So, we are transparent. We're trying to give the best to our community, including this knowledge, and teach them how to do it. But because there is a transaction tax, Rudy, don't forget that once you're unstaking and once you're pulling it out, you're going to be taxed as it returns to your wallet. So there is an unstaking tax, right?
Okay.
The transaction tax, which is inherent. Now, what we've done is we tried to cover basically half of that tax. So if you put your money in today, Rudy, your MIDAS tokens in today, our team will cover your tax. So there's zero tax there for you to put it in. You put in, let's use a round number. You put in $100,000 tokens, into the transaction wallet. You would expect to lose 2% or 4% or whatever it is as you're moving it around your wallet, right? There's a 2% tax. That's 2,000 tokens, right? So what we've done is we've utilized our tax wallet for you as a holder, Rudy, your benefit there, so that you will not have that tax as into staking, because we want to promote people like you to do such a thing. 2, your rewards ultimately are generated from that tax wallet as well. So you can earn a sweet yield if you are a long-term minded investor on MIDAS. And frankly, if I may toot our horn here a bit, I don't know many other prod coins, at least, that are venturing into the utility in DeFi territory like MIDAS is.
Toot all the way.
And then one last thing on staking. Is it soft staking? Do the tokens remain in your wallet, or do the tokens actually get taken out of your wallet and put onto a platform?
They are within the Treble platform. They
Okay.
must go out of your wallet, and the Treble team, and it's completely decentralized. You remain, well, how do I put it? I don't know if custody is the right word. I have to think outside the box here, but there is a landing page. There is an area in which you may put your tokens in, but at the same time, it's 100% decentralized. You have the authority to pull those tokens out through the Treble staking page. And you would have to, should you wish to look into this, either one of you or anyone in the audience that's listening, you would go over to the Treble Swap website, punch in Treble Swap into your Google or search engine. Then you would launch the app, and then you would go down under Earn, and then Partners, and then you'd find MIDAS Staking right there. We are the premier partner, and all of that information is right before your fingertips. Once you follow that little roadmap, or as I like to think of it, the treasure map into staking.
I love it. Thank you for that. Sorry, Joe.
No, please don't. I want to jump into a quick question that did come from the community. You'll see here posted up there. How does MIDAS plan to expand its ecosystem over the next 6 to 12 months? And I know I see in phase 3, we're talking about partnerships, incentives, tangible content, as well as enterprise outreach. Can you talk a little bit about some of the future opportunity you guys are bringing to the project?
Absolutely, because the groundwork for each of those initiatives have already been laid. As you may know about us, we're deeply integrated with the broader base community. We attend so many spaces, and we've already entered into collaboration with certain projects. Like, for example, I've already mentioned Treble, and we want to expand on the DeFi suite as well. There's not much I can say about it. Things are in the works, and maximizing the utility of our token and for an investor such as either of you, things that you may do just by holding MIDAS or staking MIDAS or using MIDAS within the DeFi suite that Treble offers. On top of that, we've also had a wonderful collaboration with a team from Rift, RYFT. We had, how do I put it? Like a special launch of or a unique collaboration where we had an NFT which was wrapped and had value of MIDAS, which was wrapped into the token. So there was that already done. And we're always, in the base community, thinking of ways and thinking of teams that may be interested in assisting their community. Ultimately, whatever we do is with the focus of benefiting the community members that we have. So if a team is aligned with that interest and they suggest to us, hey, we want to help our community and help your community, let's do it together, we're all ears for that. Now, we've touched on what we've done. We've touched on, I can't necessarily touch on what is in the works presently, but allow me to explain why the foundation was laid. And I'm not going to leave that as an errant comment that will go unanswered or not elaborated upon. What I wish you all to know is that we've first and foremost, let me touch on the team here as I get into the next step. The team, we're a group of professionals, people who are building businesses. We've got engineers, we've got marketing executives, we've got a doctor, and really people who understand building brands for themselves, or in the case of the marketing person, knows how to advance other corporations' brands in the real world, in the Web 2 world or the Web 0 world. So that is very important for us to understand and develop here in the crypto community, because there's a blend here between Web 3, but when you enjoy your meme, you're in the real world, you're in Web 0 enjoying your meme. So first and foremost, what we did was we established a corporate entity. MIDAS is a limited liability corporation registered in Denver, Colorado, first and foremost. Then from there, the next step upon that was filing for intellectual property protections with the US PTO office, right? So here we are. We're building a real life brand that is also on the blockchain. So, Joe, when you ask that question, to me, it feels obvious, but I have to explain that there's just so many there's so much, that's the better way to put it, future potential for this brand. Should you wish to see us on t-shirts or on other merchandise, a mug or a hat or, a fanny pack, we're allowed to do that. We own that image and we can do that in the real world. You can find us in I don't want to give too much away, but should you find us in short form writing, for example, or on TV, as you may have already caught us, those types of things, those opportunities are now endless because of the foundations we've laid in the real world. So we have already laid that foundation. Now, how do we utilize that foundation? How do we grow it even further is the question that you're asking. So I say to you, we wish to have your mind blown and Rudy's mind blown. Stay tuned with us because there's fun branding opportunities for MIDAS. And do you wish to have a little bit of a sneak peek and a teaser of what we're intending to do in the very, very near future?
We would love to see behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You don't have to tempt us too much, I promise.
Well, okay, so I really like to adhere to the law. So I can't directly say what it is, but I can tease it, right? Because there's legal obligations and we don't wish to be in trouble. And especially since you can sue us since we're a corporation, right? So, or an LLC at the very least. So we are endeavoring to engage in various things. So one of them is a unique branding opportunity that will promote crypto safety.
Very good. Super important.
Okay, so there's that. Wink, wink. Think about it. Think outside the box, right? And generally speaking, when we're looking into this opportunity, there are absolutely no projects that are, in its infancy like we are, that are considering to do such a thing, right? They are only premier projects that are usually blue chip projects and very few meme coins that are going to take this or have taken this step that we are about to take. That's teaser number one. Teaser number two, because our branding is on point and it's protected, we wish to expand on our advertising. And what we're looking to get ourselves into in the very near future is a real crypto-centric event that is not on the blockchain, but is in the real world. And crypto users tend to go into this arena and look into and enjoy the fruits of this arena. And we want to be front, center, present, and with our branding all over it. And so I've mentioned arena, I've mentioned crypto-centric, and you're going to have to, and then I've mentioned it's a real world event, and you're going to have to, tie all those pieces together to understand what it is. Now, I think that's the most. I don't think anyone can sue me. I dare you, because, I didn't reveal anything really, and you can speculate as to what it is. So those types of things are how we're two examples of how we will be expanding in the very, very near future, and looking forward to those two. And then beyond those two, opportunities remain endless for us.
That sounds great. There was one question that came across the screen. I'm assuming if you could have given the info, you would have, but I'm going to ask anyway. From PT003, he's actually a great supporter of multiple projects. He was asking if there's any upcoming partnerships that you may be able to disclose.
Unfortunately, no. With the nature of partnerships, we can't really disclose them until they're firmed up. And but you can tell from where we are on Twitter who we're working with and who's supporting us, who's promoting us. I think you can you're gonna have to read between the lines a little bit. And I wish I can be more honest with you, but unfortunately, I
No,
hope
I
you all
absolutely
understand
understand.
that. Yeah, there are, like, we wish to maintain the confidence of all of our partners, right? So as I tease, I know that I won't upset them, right? So that's the best I can do presently. But I do hope that, and by the way, PT003, I know exactly who you are, man. Like, thank you for coming on out. Thank you for smashing the likes. Thank you for retweeting. You're amazing. Keep it up. Like, you're a wonderful example of what the power of this community, by the way. I wish I can answer your question directly to you, but you know where to find me, man. I'm always in the Discord. I'm always in the Telegram. But unfortunately, I'm not going to disclose. I'm not going to ruin the confidence of our partners, although I wish to, because I would love to give everybody and just drop a big bomb of alpha all over everyone today. Giving you the best.
I think it's safe to leave it with, you are working on partnerships. And I think it's safe to leave it with that.
And
Absolutely.
that definitely is the first check box that you guys will be working on in phase 3 going into 2026. So that's fantastic. Did have another question that came up as well that I just posted, questioning if Midas is going to be jumping onto Zora or not. Midas is already on Zora. Here is the QR code if anybody wants to go out and make sure that they do support Midas on Zora, as they do have their creator coin active. I'll leave that up there for a second. But Luca, what are you guys doing different on Zora when it comes to content creation and your interaction with the community?
Ooh, content creation and interaction. Well, first and foremost, we are supremely present. There's quite a few of us that are really tied to this brand and really wish to advance it. So I think being present is the best example of that. Secondly, I've mentioned the meme generator. I've mentioned the GIF generator, and I don't know about you two, but I don't recall very many projects that have their memes directly integrated into Twitter right now. And I urge both of you, if you get a chance during my long-winded answers, to check out your Twitters, punch into the GIF generator, GIF search bar, I suppose it's called. And excuse me if I don't have the right term there, but punch in King Midas, scroll a little bit, and see if you can find one of our hilarious GIFs that will represent your unique emotion at the time. When the market's pumping, you're going to see those things all over the place. With respect to interaction with the community, I think that we all know that we're all present in both Discord and Twitter. We have so many wonderful members that want to help people within the Discord itself. And I know that Dr. Nicole mentioned to you last night, Rudy, like, mostly her. She's the shoulder to cry on, even among us team members. She's keeping our minds focused. She's keeping our minds strong and keeping our spirits up in these weird market conditions right now. And I think that when people come around and they are asking questions to us and they're feeling some type of way, I think that it's so unique, so cool, so darn powerful to have someone with that background
Absolutely
willing to invest time to somebody who's usually behind a fake name and a funny picture, but know that that is a real human nonetheless. And to make sure that, from the time that they started that message or conversation to the time that it ends, they're in a much better place spiritually and emotionally. So there's that. And of course, I alluded to the fact that we're helping people understand the market. We're teaching people best crypto practices, because I feel that as crypto veterans, that's our inherent duty now, because we need to safeguard the next generation. We need to teach them that you're not clicking all of these Telegram links, and you ought to get a hard wallet, an external wallet. You should be getting your funds or crypto assets off exchanges, and you ought to be using decentralized platforms, because that's the culture of memes. We're not necessarily all on tier 1 exchanges, and believe me, that's our intention, to be on every single darn one of them. But there's a culture here for being decentralized and for protecting your own assets. And there's a reason why people get into crypto. Some people get into it for the money that they're going to make, and other people get into it for the financial protection and anonymity. So we need to promote all those things. We need to teach all those things.
You're absolutely right. You know, and I just smile because I'm here for the money. No, totally kidding. Here for the people. Here for the people. Listen.
Well, excuse me. Before the next question, there's been a memo that's floated across my desk here, and it's just in. There's another teaser that my team would like to announce. Hold your breath, everyone. Here it comes.
Let's go.
One of our team members may or may not be in conversations with a certain NBA team. Ooh. Will you stay tuned for that? Will you?
I'm trying to think who may have a similar PFP.
Ooh, I wonder.
Super exciting. That's awesome. You know, and I've had the opportunity, of course, attending a few of like the Bitcoin conferences, and you know, you'd be surprised that there's quite a few even retired NBA players that show up to these events and are wanting to learn and understand the blockchain more, especially as they look at NFTs and, you know, the potential of having, you know, cards created out of players on teams and things of that nature. So that's exciting. It's definitely an avenue that MIDAS can branch out to. And I think that leads into a big potential opportunity when you talk about your guys' enterprise outreach, your partnerships, and, you know, just expansion overall. But when I talk about NFTs, you know, my mind kind of goes back to my inception into blockchain and crypto, which was really through GameFi, right? It was through the gaming community and all of that. And, you know, the big push and focus around hyper casual mobile gaming. There was a question that came up, and the question is there any plans on launching NFTs in the future, and your thoughts on the NFT marketplace? Luca, if we can speculate a little bit on your thoughts on the NFT marketplace, and then is there any plans that MIDAS is making to either launch a collection or maybe even some integration into a game in the future?
Well, okay. I'm going to leave the game thing to you, and perhaps I'll end my answer with a question to you. Like, what's the best type of game do you believe that MIDAS would be the star character in? Think about that. Let that brew for a minute, Joe, and I'll answer the rest. So, I don't know if I'm quite the expert on NFTs. I do hold a few myself that are, of course, within and without the MIDAS community. I understand that that's a segment of the market that's been real beat up since its heyday and back in 2021. I do believe that there are some fundamental utilities to NFTs, and the way that my mind imagines NFTs are not the playful fun types that we see now. Like if you're holding a certain NFT, and we know the premier ones that you'll be admitted access to certain parties and get-togethers and whatnot as your entry ticket. In fact, I'm looking ahead to the future, and I wonder, like, NFTs may be a blockchain representation of the ownership or title of your property, your real property, your car. I do believe that sometime in the future that this space will expand into having IDs, which are on chain through, you know, what is inherently an NFT. But I think that is my view of where it was. I mean, it's been beaten up, and you know where it's going, and of course that's going to take lots of time. And where does MIDAS fit in that? And of course we are thinking about it, because again, I referenced earlier that there's a real duality here, that we're doing things that are in the real world, and I referenced, you know, the business and the IP protection, as well as we need to do things that memes and meme communities expect out of memes, right? We need to do things that are crypto-centric. So of course we're thinking about it. Of course we're trying to develop it. Of course we may or may not have 2 people already working on it. I don't know, really, right? That's as far as I can say. And I know my team's going to float another memo across my desk, except this one's going to say, shut the hell up.
Listen, I love that you just didn't answer that question with a yes. You put some methodical thought behind it, in the sense that you're not just launching a collection to launch a collection. right? You want to make sure that when you do launch a collection, that there is going to be utility and opportunity behind it for the community, whether that be, you know, purchase and stake your NFT for rewards, or what, you know, whatever that case may be down the road. But I do want to kind of throw that question to Rudy as well, you know, around the NFT marketplace, because I know, like, with YOLO and in a lot of the communities that you're involved in, there's a lot of activity around different collections that are being created and their utility, and some of even your personal focuses around, you know, projects that are close to home. What's the NFT marketplace looking like for you in your mind?
I think more and more projects are realizing that we have to move beyond the PFPs. People want more than just art. Not to say that if things are priced right, people aren't going to purchase things to have just pretty art in their wallet. But people are looking for utility now, whether it's being able to stake the NFT, whether it's being able to give token gated access into not just the Discord of the project, but one of the great perks is holding an NFT and having token gated access for partnered projects. You know, that's a huge thing. So NFTs, I definitely think, are going to become very popular again. I do agree with MIDAS or with Luca that we are going to see a huge push to real life on NFTs. We are already starting to see that happen with real estate, where real estate listings, our deeds, our legal descriptions, all on NFTs. And what this is going to do is it's going to force people from Web 2 into Web 3 without even realizing it, because they're just going to need to download something to interact with their health records, send them off. But I definitely see the NFT marketplaces really picking up. I would like to see the actual platforms become more, handle more chains. I am getting a little frustrated having to use multiple different NFT platforms to view my NFTs. But no, I think we're going to see a lot next year starting with NFTs.
Wow, you covered a lot of the sentiment that I echo when it comes around to NFTs. You know, there's a lot of hurt, I would say, you know, in the past of, you know, price action and the valuation of NFTs. But when you think about it, if we could just put on our thinking caps and just have NFTs be worthless, but the price is what you're evaluating a product to, a vehicle, a home, clothing, anything that you could go and purchase at the convenience store, that's what your NFT is worth. It's essentially your tag on your shirt, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be something significantly tangible, but it allows us to really transact in the blockchain by just purchasing the NFT. I want to go and buy that car, but I only have crypto or Ethereum, Binance, you know, BNB, whatever the case is, but I can just go and purchase the NFT, and that's going to be the liquidity for the vehicle. Well, now I just need Carvana to go ahead and deliver it to my house. That's kind of a future I see, right? And then if I decide to sell that item later, I don't have to necessarily sell it on the blockchain or sell that NFT, but I have that NFT as the proof of ownership. That I think is going to be our big indicator. But I love that your mind is absolutely in that same forward thinking, that it's really just going to be integrated into everything. One quick question for you, Luca, before I get into, you know, the question we had around gaming. Danny asks here, any kind of team buybacks that we can expect, or any process that you guys have in place?
Oh, I don't know about buybacks. I mean, we team buybacks, and I wonder the concept of that. Like, is it solely to pump market? Because we're utilizing our taxes to benefit you in a different way, through staking, for example. We're utilizing our taxes through to obtain exchange listings, real world partnerships, and as well as real world and crypto centric marketing. So I wonder, but you know, with respect to team buybacks, friend, and I don't recall who that was. I wish to answer you directly if I knew your name. Joe, did you catch the name of that person?
Of course I did.
Dano Sky Miles. Dano Sky Miles. Cool name. I want to tell you, and I want to be honest with you, that the team, at least me, I'm still buying MIDAS token. I've done so this week. I don't want to give you too much information so you go out there and monitor my wallet and try to copy trade me, because, you know, don't like that. But if you want to, good luck trying. But I'm still buying, and there's a reason for that. It's because this is really a community token. I mean, theoretically, because we launched and we're only able to buy at the same time as those would-be community members. Now, because it's costed so much, and we're regular humans with regular 9-to-5 jobs, and none of us are 100% in the crypto space, full-time or retired, so to speak, right? It took a great deal of commitment and effort and financial strain to put up that 20K and whatever other funds were necessary to make these marketing payments and just to pay for everything, really, right? So, you know how cash flow works. It works the same way for you as it does for me. And so when the cash comes in, then I'm able to buy. Ultimately, it would have been preferable to buy my entire bag on or at or near launch, but that's just not the way the world works. So technically, the answer is yeah, we're buying every darn day, or every darn week, really, at least in my opinion, at least with respect to me, right? But I know that there's other team members just like me. We didn't feel like we got enough allocation early on, so we're building our bags like you would with Bitcoin, like you would with Ethereum, like you would with Solana, your blue chips. Or we're treating this one like a blue chip play because we know how hard everyone's working and how focused everyone is. And I do want to reiterate here that this team is magical. This team is profoundly gifted. And I'm lucky to be part of this team. I'm lucky that you might think of me as a big part of this team, but really one small speck of what this amazing team really is. And this team doesn't know how to fail. They're building brands, they're building businesses. They don't know how to take no for an answer. So if someone says, no, we're not going to promote you or we're not going to list you or whatever, they say, okay, I didn't hear no. What I heard was, we're going to come back at you and then you're going to wish you had us earlier. That's what I heard. So this team is pounding on doors, kicking them down where necessary, and working hard every darn day. With respect to an obvious blatant buyback, the answer is no. But is the team buying? Hell yeah. I'm going to buy again real soon once that paycheck clears, like everybody else in this world. And I hope that answers your question, Dano. Please feel free to talk to me more in Telegram and Discord. You'll find me there, and I want to answer that, and I want to explain that more so to you. And you may notice that the next question that will come up, because I know this community, I know what you guys are going to ask. You're like, are you burning tokens? Are you? Well, I have an idea, and the idea is that I think our tax wallet is better utilized to give rewards, but at the same time, we need to do the things that meme coins do, and there may or may not be a dead wallet holding MIDAS already. It may have been tested. I don't know. Check it out. If you blockchain gurus and detectives, go on out there and find it. If you can find it, come tell me. I'll give you a pat on the back.
Listen, you couldn't ask for any more transparency than that. And you're right, calling out the buyback, it really is. It's a price speculation and token pump opportunity buying when, the market's, bear. But when you're really utilizing those funds for other purposes to really do more outreach. As far as your question back to me from the gaming standpoint, hyper casual mobile games are certainly one of the most influential aspects, I think, of where Web3 has been heading when it comes to integrating crypto or blockchain into certain games. We're not at the level of where we have these AAA games that have skins integrated where you can buy and purchase. There's a few out there, but far between. Kind of back to what Rudy was mentioning, the community gets involved in simple games, rock, paper, scissors. I've seen a few now that have put together casino nights. I think if MIDAS goes in the direction of a hyper casual mobile game that, is meant to kind of tease a short moment of entertainment, that or prolonged entertainment when you have not much to do, but doesn't put downward pressure on the token price, it will be a huge success. You know, we saw the play to earn kind of become phased out just simply because people were earning and dumping the token. There was no ecosystem in which where they were putting their rewards back into the game, back into the project. So, you know, something that kind of comes to mind that I really haven't seen done is you have the staking opportunity. You know, rather than unstaking and claiming rewards, what if your rewards were only able to be unstaked if you play the game? Right, your interaction in a hyper casual mobile game, those rewards for staking are how you can unclaim them. That could be a huge opportunity to get the community involved in the gaming project, but also alleviate significant downward pressure from even just a staking platform. Those are some things that come to mind now, specifically on a game that Midas, you know, would be best suited for, especially given the avatar and all of that stuff. My mind just goes right to medieval times, and you know, some of those games that you see where you're forward running and you're killing the wave of guards or things of that nature. The mind can go crazy, but I certainly would love to see, you know, Midas get on that side and integrate some gaming opportunity into the roadmap. Is that something that you foresee kind of coming down the pipeline here?
Absolutely. We're toying with it. We're teasing it. But we need to find someone with a big, strong mind like yours, Joe, to help us put it all together. I know that you were in that space. With respect, I do have some commentary on, just to follow up on your statements. You know, we here, and I presume everyone, us three, are in North America, given our various lack of accent, if you will. So I think that it's important it's important to remember that those play to earn games really helped people that were from different nations earn a few bucks that were really substantial to them, and may have been more nominal to people who live in this ecosystem, or in North America at least. I mean, what is a cup of coffee to us is much more substantial to them. And I think that was a major benefit. So notwithstanding that there may not be positive price action, it really is beneficial to that human that's playing to earn and doing something fun to earn money. And I trust and I hope that certain people may have become really good at some of those games to help their own families, in whatever parts of the world they may have been in. Of course, Midas would love to be the main character, and I think we've established the framework and the IP protection to become such a thing in a game. Of course, you know, as I mentioned earlier about the team, like, because most of us are at a certain age where, you know, we're a bit different than the typical meme team these days, right? This is our best shot to be developers, if you wish, because, you know, as for me, I'm at an age where they didn't teach coding in school other than Turing. And I mean, if you guys know coding, Turing's one of those ones that aren't utilized in blockchain, I suppose. But this is new tech. I was born in a Web 0 world. There was no internet. There was no cell phones when I was born. And this is how people on our team, within our family here at Midas, this is the best way for us to, you know, show love and support to this crypto niche, and to actually change it for the better. So we aren't coders. We don't know how to make games, but we know how to pick up the phone. And if we have to, we'll call up Nintendo and put us right beside Super Mario, if we have to. And we won't take no for an answer. But Joe, if you know how to do that type of tech, or if you know those people that do that you would trust, and we trust, you're a friend of ours, and a friend of yours is a friend of ours as well. And we'll definitely take those calls and try to see if we can make something work there.
Amen to that. So community definitely has some great horizon to look out for. We know the folks, and we can definitely develop the partnerships alongside Midas. So love that. Anything that you want to close us with? Any other little fillers, or should I say some alpha that you may have with regards to Midas that you want to close us out with?
You know, I tend to not drop any alpha. Excuse me. I tend to not save any alpha till the end. I think I've dropped it bits and pieces throughout.
Good try, Joe. Good try.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've teased what it was, like a unique branding and advertising opportunity with respect to crypto safety. I've expressed and teased potential for a crypto event. I've done all that already. There's certain commercials on TV presently. We're on Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, certain sports channels. You'll find us streaming there, right? Which is pretty darn cool. Again, I don't see very many crypto projects doing that right now. And I mean, we're of course we're super excited to be on the base chain as well. I've mentioned that already, and we're looking at what the base chain is doing, and we're trying to mimic and mirror that. And allow me to do something that I didn't expect to do today. I'm gonna turn on my camera. I think the people deserve a docs community event. Do you want it? Put it in. Put in the LFGs. Let's go. Hearts, emojis. Let me see it. No one's answering. No one wants to see my mug.
Hey, whoever stuck around is definitely getting the treat. So
here I am, everybody.
The man,
the real
legend.
Human. I'm not just a P. Right there, we got some commercials running. And these are the types of things that you wouldn't expect out of a regular meme. We're not just a picture of a bull. We're not just a super hyped up community. We are much more than that. We are going to mirror what Base is doing. Base is building an ecosystem, and they're going out there and they are trying to bring the real world onto the blockchain. That's what they're doing. And we are going to mimic that. That's why our advertisements, our billboards are out in San Diego. They're out in Denver. Of course, ETH Denver, that's a big deal for us, right? They're in Miami. These are crypto-centric towns, people that know that they want to see crypto out on their advertisements. We've got our street art campaign, or really it's a guerrilla marketing campaign. We're taking over every city. We got street art out in London. We worked with a wonderful street artist or local artist in London, England. We want MIDAS to be worldwide. You shout out a city, we'll find out a way to put up our advertising. That's what we want to do. We're built with honesty, transparency, and trust. We're built by people who are investors, who understand the concerns and understand the wishes of investors. That's what we are. We're not serial developers. That's not it at all. We really, genuinely wanted to make the crypto trenches a better place. We're showing every other meme team how to do it right. That's what we want to do. And frankly, all of this is brought in part by an amazing team. People, I feel like a giant because I stand on the shoulders of all my teammates. They're amazing. They are just alpha type personalities that don't ask questions. They just go out there and get the job done. I wake up to 1,000 text messages that tell me, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. Hey, by the way, I got a commercial out on TV. You like it? MIDAS is on TV. That's what they tell me. So when I wake up and I'm worried about the market, that goes away real quick as soon as I talk to one of my teammates. And if I'm ever feeling some type of way, I get to talk to these teammates. They are my family. They're always accessible. They're always on voice chat. Should you wish to talk to them, you just ask. We're always there. So I don't know what the heck the question was anymore. I'm just all fired up right now. Is it really the end, Joe? Is it really the end, Rudy? I got more to go.
They say the chat got pumped. They saw your face. It was like, wait a minute. The game has changed. Absolutely love it. Couple plugs.
Well, I see in the comments, Joe, it says MIDAS founder. No, I'm not the founder. I'm just one of many team members. I don't want any accolades directed at me. I'm the spokesperson here today. Tomorrow might be somebody else, but it's me today, and here I am.
And I love that, working together, everybody needs to lift the project in their own ways. Everybody is going to have different strengths. So that's really important. I mean, we had a great crowd here today. A lot of great people, out listening to this space. I do want to give a close friend, Dante, a shout out. He's a great guy in the community, been in the community for about 5 years, known him really well, an amazing artist. He's actually one of those who does the GIFs too for a lot of projects where he'll make them and, upload them to Tenor and stuff. So he's definitely someone fun to have in your community. Maybe give him a follow. I'm sure he can help you out as well. But I love the info. I love your energy. I love that you're focusing on teaching. That is very important. I don't want to align myself with projects who just want to sell their token. I want to align myself with projects and teams who don't mind spending their time educating the community about how to be safe and how to do your own research. That is really important. The days of just saying to people DYOR, NFA, those are over. It is time for us who have been here to teach people how to stay safe, how to do their own research, how to find people to go to get quality information. And I'm gonna, end on that with something I've been really preaching. Everyone be very careful with links, please. We've been seeing this a lot the last couple of weeks, very legitimate accounts being hacked, sending out links for things like meetings. So everyone just please be very careful when it comes to links.
Amen to that. Anybody who needing any further information about MIDAS, curious about the project, want to know where they're going on the roadmap, interested in a little bit more clarification on the tokenomics, and when they want to get down to the brass tacks, check out the website. Here's the link. Please feel free to utilize the QR code. It'll take you right to the MIDAS website, give you all the information that you're needing. Likewise, please jump into the Telegram. Here's a QR code to the Telegram. That way you can get involved in the community, ask questions to any of the mods that are in the chat, as well as, the community members who have been around for a while. And then, of course, we did have some questions around Zora. So those who do want to jump into the creator content market and check out MIDAS, please, scan that QR code, get into Zora, support some of their content, and become a big holder. As we had mentioned in the X chat or in the post, we are doing a $100 giveaway, $50 to 2 people who posted LFG in the comments, and then of course completed all of the tasks. We will go ahead and we will announce that on X once we end this live stream. Luca, you got anything else for us before we close out?
Absolutely. I'm never done. What I want to say to everybody, first and foremost, Rudy, I know that you're newer and understanding more the base blockchain. This is the place to be. This is where developers build. And really, this is where people really want to help out one another. And we've got the benefit of that by talking with Treble. I want to, let you know that it's really simple to buy MIDAS right now. If you utilize the Coinbase app and the Coinbase exchange, you can find us right there. We've been listed through their DEX integration. So it's really simple, especially people that are in the United States of America, to purchase MIDAS right now as we speak. And
right on the Coinbase, right on the regular Coinbase app.
Darn tootin', that's the
Really?
way to get it. That's the easiest way to get us. But of course, I want to remind everybody that big part of our culture is being decentralized. And so if you wish to use a decentralized exchange, we're on Uniswap. But also if you want to time your buys, time your sells, utilize the V4 DEX at TrebleSwap. All of these things should be super simple if you know your way around the wallet. Of course, we've got other centralized exchange listings, which I'm not going to belabor the point. You can find us on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. You'll see all of it.
You're
Is
right
that
here.
Your tool is coming through here. That's what I'm.
It took me 3 seconds, and right on the regular Coinbase app, typed in MIDAS. There you are. Simple little buttons on the bottom: transfer, buy, and sell. Look at that.
That's right. So it's so simple to get us. It's so simple to find us. Joe mentioned, go to our website, find our link tree. Those are all of our official links. Don't be clicking on any other crap links that someone else sends you. We want you to be safe, secure. If there's something that you think is awry, that you think is too weird, there's whatever it is, you must talk to us. Talk to the mods. We're going to make sure your wallets are safe. Always. We're always looking out for our community. And with all that being said, I'm going to end off this space the way I often do. If you are picking up what we're throwing down, if you believe in MIDAS, if you believe that there's a future, if you like the way we're building, then please show it in our charts. Throw in the 8s. We love the number 8. Our circulating supply is 8,888,888,888 tokens. We've done that for, it is the number which symbolizes abundance and prosperity. Our success is therefore coded. So if you're picking that up, you're loving it, throw some 8s into the chart. 8-cent buys, $8 buys, 80-cent buys. If you got an 8 ETH cannon ready to unload, go for it. We love it. Throw it into the chart. Tell us you love us, and we appreciate it so much. With that being said, Rudy, it was so amazing to get to interact with you here today. It was great to get to know you a little bit last night. I hope there will be more collaboration and more conversation in the future. You're a super deep person. I understood that last night. Thank you for the questions today. Joe, you're amazing as always. Of course, we got to connect over the last week or two as well. Great to get to know about you. Thank you for putting this all together and having us on your platform. And I hope this one becomes a memorable one for both of you. And should you have any questions or anything more that you wish to ask of me, you'll find me. I'm easy to find. Thank you so much.
And just to let you know, Luca, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have an amazing day. And everyone, thank you for attending and sharing your feedback, questions. Super bullish on Midas. You guys have a beautiful day.
Take care.
Thank you both.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.